What up, Max?
Hey, Warren.
I saw Kate earlier and her eyes were puffy from crying.
Kate has a lot on her plate.
I didn't know what to say and she didn't tell me anything.
Okay, I know you love me, but if you're not in this class, beat it. Everybody else, please sit
Maybe I'll
down.
see
We have
you
a lot
later.
to cover today, and so little time as usual. I see all the usual suspects here. Anybody seen Kate Marsh?
I think everybody has seen Kate Marsh by now.
She's not feeling good.
Sounds like you're giggling about a video gone viral. Maybe it involves a student? Or a friend? I wonder how it would feel to have false images of yourself shot out all over the world for people to judge.
I guess Kate will miss class now.
Usually, people need something to
I'm
judge
worried
so they
about
never
her.
take a good look at themselves. Also, we can thank reality TV for some of that. In the end,
It's cool that Mr. Jefferson published his own little book of photo tips.
we can only blame ourselves for participating. Speaking of participation, there are a few souls here who have yet to enter a photo in the contest. Like Max Caulfield, for example, who I know can't wait to enter, right? I'm sure you read the syllabus like it was a Harry Potter book, so you must know today we're studying chiaroscuro. That beautiful word about the contrast between light and dark. The shadow play that gives photography such visual power. It's basic yin and yang. Black and white images are effective precisely because of their contrast. Although we don't technically see in mono.
Yo! Some crazy shit is going down in the girls' dorm!
Zachary,
Check it!
do not come into my class like that ever again. Listen, everybody remain seated. Dismissed.
Is this for real?
Bitch flipped out!
I didn't think she was that messed up.
Who is that up there?
Kate!
She can't die. She can't. Not again. Not now. I have to try something. I won't be able to rewind again and again. Keep going, Max. You can do it. Yes.
What are you doing here, Max? Stop! Don't come near me!
Not now. It won't work. I don't have any power. Now I have to do this by myself.
Max, seriously, don't come near me! I will jump!
Okay. I'm right here. Kate, please.
Oh, Max, I know you want to help me, I love that you stepped up to David, but it doesn't matter now. Nothing matters.
You matter, and not just to me.
I do want to believe that.
Kate, your life is still yours, and we can get through this together. Let me help, like I helped by erasing all that crap people wrote on your room slate.
I'm glad to hear you worry about me. That makes me feel better.
Of course I worry. You're my friend, Kate.
I did feel better talking to you on the phone. I always feel like you really listen.
Kate, please trust me. Come stand by me, okay? I can help you now. I know I can. This morning I erased the web link to the video. It was written on the shower room mirror.
That's your story now. How can I trust you? What about this morning when I needed help? You told me to do nothing.
Kate, I'm gathering proof that Nathan Prescott drugged you. And you're not the only victim. So you have to help me take Nathan down.
Nathan Prescott? That makes sense. He's a scumbag. You have proof now?
Soon, then straight to the police. Think of it like we're cleansing Blackwell.
You do have my back, Max. That's the first time I've felt hopeful in a week.
Good. We all need to have each other's backs. So, I want you to come with me now. Please. You don't have to do this.
Max, I'm in a nightmare and I can't wake up. Unless I put myself to sleep. Then everybody at Blackwell can post pics of my body. I'm already on the internet forever. No wonder they call it a web. Nothing can ever get out. Like my video. I wish I could go back in time and erase everything.
Kate, this is our chance to beat the bullies. That's the only way we can win against them.
Can we really, Max? I don't believe in miracles anymore either.
Now I do. You're part of the reason why. If you come down with me, I can tell you more.
You're such a good person, Max. Even if you're full of crap. But I'll come with you. You're my friend.
Forever. Can we hug on it?
No! Nobody cares about me! Nobody!
Kate, I saw that card from your father. You can count on him. He clearly loves you without question.
Dad does care, even though I hurt him. He's the only one I know who believes in me. I'm sorry. Sorry.
What are you talking about? You saved me from talking in class.
Now, I know today was difficult for everybody, but I'm so proud of the way Blackwell pulled together to save a young girl's life. Of course, you're quite the hero for getting Kate to come down, Max.
I didn't do much.
She's modest. Like a real hero.
Yeah, real hero.
As principal of Blackwell Academy, I take my duties seriously. I take the well-being of every student more seriously. What happened today should never happen in a hall of wisdom and knowledge. Mr. Madsen, as our head of security here, those roof doors should always be locked. That's just standard operating procedure. They were not, and that is indeed your responsibility. Mr. Jefferson, I know you can't be expected to know what your students are going through, but Kate has assisted you in class, so you should have known something was amiss. Mr. Prescott, since you are responsible for the Vortex Club parties, and since Miss Marsh did attend your last party, you'll have to answer some more questions. Miss Caulfield, Why exactly were you on the roof with Kate Marsh? Did she tell you her plan? Or anything at all? Please, tell us everything.
All I know is that Kate was at a party and Nathan dosed her. She got wasted and kissed some boys on a viral video without a clue.
I dosed her? Without a clue. Have you seen the video? Whatever. Kate was loaded and
You're a
playing
liar.
the field.
You told Kate you took her to the emergency room.
I said I was going to take her to the ER. She sobered up eventually.
Bullshit. Something happened to her and you know it. How about we talk about you waving a gun in the girls'
Hey,
bathroom?
that's total slander. I could sue you and this school so fast. I already have a personal lawyer.
Careful, Mr. Prescott. I have been told of this alleged gun incident, and I have to admit that the video in question was sent to me by multiple sources.
Including me.
And since Mr. Prescott does appear prominently in the video and was responsible for the party, I have no choice but to suspend him until further notice.
Whatever. See you in court.
Excuse me. I think Max and Nathan need a break before we grill them further. A friend and student just tried to kill herself. They don't need this forum right now.
Yes, I'm kind of devastated right now. I'd like to be with my family.
All right, Miss Caulfield, please sign here to confirm what you've told us. I'll continue this investigation from there.
My head is killing me, but I think I can use my power again.
Well, I think we know less now than when we started. We'll be assisting the police with further inquiries. I know this has been a stressful day. I wish I had the power to change it all for the better. So thank you for coming in.
I couldn't even believe it was happening. It was literally slow motion as I grabbed her hand. And then I could feel her grabbing mine.
Max, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Ever! You reached out, she reached out, hugs, tears, applause. Like a superhero.
Not quite. Look at me. I'm a mess.
You're glowing. Seriously, a human halo. I'm pretty sure you earned your wings today.
I'm still worried about Kate. She did try to kill herself. All over a video.
Viral is the right word. Like a disease.
So you watched it?
Just 1.5 times.
Warren, I don't mean to sound weird, but there's something ominous going on at Blackwell.
Today proves that.
And I'm working on proof that Kate Marsh is connected to Rachel Amber. Somehow. Along with Nathan and Mr. Madsen.
I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but I wouldn't doubt it. Nathan did scare me yesterday, and Madsen is a straight-up dickhead. So, what do you think is really happening?
What the hell is this? The weather confirms this weird day. Feel that chill.
Max, there was no eclipse scheduled today. I would know. I would.
I believe you, Warren. I'll believe anything this week.
Alright guys, so let's talk about episode 2. It seemed like there was a lot that happened and also not a lot that happened in this one. This episode felt more about character development than it did about actually moving the main plot of the story forward. We didn't really find out anything else about what's going on with Max's time powers. We didn't really find out a lot more about what's up with the disappearance of Rachel Amber or how that's connected to Kate, really. We didn't find out a whole lot in terms of like that overarching plot, but we did get to know some of the characters a little bit better, which was cool. So let's talk about some people. First of all, there's Chloe. She was featured pretty heavily in this one, and more and more with her you get this idea that she is someone who is a lot more fragile than what she presents. That was pretty clear in the first episode as well, but this one just reinforces that idea that, you know, she gets herself involved in these things that are really too much for her to be able to then follow through with and handle. The situation with Frank and the gun and the drugs and the big plans for getting out of town and whatnot. All of those things are just smoke and mirrors for her. You know, she was never going to run away from her mom. Like that's just not something that was ever going to happen. She talks a big game, but I just don't see that kind of thing happening. She would never have shot Frank. I don't see her as that type of person. I see her as the type of person with a lot of bravado, and that's hiding someone who's very scared and fragile underneath. I think that she is really worried about Rachel Amber, but probably is more so worried that she just like abandoned her, more than she's thinking that something bad actually happened to her, which is, you know, more likely the case, I think, that something bad really actually happened to Rachel Amber. She didn't just take off and leave. So we got to see a little bit more about their relationship and their dynamic, and I still sort of think that they were romantically involved, although it doesn't explicitly state that. But it has that feel to me. And so with Max being added to the picture there, and like she found their little like room where they had spent time together and whatnot, and there was the wall and you could like add your name to it. It just didn't feel right because I don't see Max and Chloe having the same kind of relationship that Chloe had with Rachel, and so like I don't know, even if Rachel is alive or whatever, I don't know that I just see their relationships being different, and I'll leave it at that. That, you know, they're talking about, oh, we'd all be great friends and whatever. Well, I think that the relationships between the three would be a little bit different than the dynamic was between either pair of them. So, anyway, just complete theorizing there. But it was interesting to get a little bit more insight into that. The interaction with Frank was interesting. That was the only major decision that I actually felt the need to go back and change in this episode. And I did so because I didn't want him to have a gun. I didn't know that when I went back there wouldn't be any bullets left in the gun and you wouldn't actually shoot him, so that was cool. I really didn't want to shoot him or kill him, but I wanted to change the fact that he had that weapon. both because I thought that it would be bad for Chloe with her stepfather if, you know, his gun was missing, and I also didn't want to give Frank access to a weapon like that. So that was the only major decision that I changed. I don't think Frank is gonna be like the ultimate bad guy. I think he's just, you know, he's just a guy on the streets trying to make it, and yeah, he's sort of a slime for taking advantage of teenagers and whatnot, but I don't see him as being like this ultimate evil person. Like, he's not the ultimate antagonist. And he has a really cute dog, so people with really cute dogs and who treat their pets really nice can't be all bad. Then we have the whole Kate thing and her interaction with several different characters. Nathan and Victoria, again, I don't see them as being the ultimate, like, bad guys. They're not kidnapping girls and doing terrible things to them, I doubt. At the end, you see Victoria in her room, kind of with her head hung. You can tell that she feels bad about what happened. Nathan is coming to see her. Maybe he feels bad about it too. You don't really get a good sense of that. But they feel like your typical high school mean guy, mean girl. You know, they're privileged, rich, snotty teenagers, and they're trying to figure out their place in, you know, the high school dynamics and whatever. And yeah, they have done some crappy things, clearly, but not ultimately like terrible, despicable human beings. And so I hope we see that develop in them a little bit more in the upcoming episodes. At the end, it felt better to accuse Nathan than it did David or Jefferson, just because it feels like you have more like actual evidence that Nathan actually has done something. So it's pretty obvious that he had something to do with Kate getting drugged at that party and the video and everything. So it seems like it's pretty clear that he was directly involved in that, whereas the involvement of David and the involvement of Mr. Jefferson is more unclear at that moment. So it didn't feel like we had enough evidence to say anything about either one of them. Speaking of David, I think more and more I'm pretty sure that he is not a bad guy at all. Like, he comes off as being kind of mean and sketchy at first, but I really do believe, and especially with that interaction that he had with Max toward the end, where, you know, he was saying that Chloe's better than that, Kate is better than that. He's really trying to protect these girls, and he's going about it in a way that makes him seem sketchy, but I think that he really isn't at all. Okay, so that little preview didn't really give us much, except it looks like the action might be ramping up, which would be cool. Hopefully the main plot gets pushed a little bit farther in the next episode. So we were talking about characters, and the last two that I don't really have a great read on yet are Mr. Jefferson and the principal. On the surface, they both seem, you know, fairly cliche. Like, the principal is a drunk, or at least he drinks sometimes during the day, and he appears to be trying to, you know, keep things the best that he can while dealing with all the pressures that the rich patrons of the school put on him. It's very surface, and it feels like maybe there's a little bit more to it. He had that little meeting with the person in the car who may have been Mr. Jefferson there at the end, but that looked a little sketchy. And so it's possible that there's a little bit more going on to him than what it appears like on the surface. With Mr. Jefferson, I immediately disliked him, and that may just be his personality, that type of person who is all about themselves and sort of seems to be up his own ass a little bit. And so that it could be nothing more than that, but that phone call at the end, who the heck was he talking to? There is something more going on with him, and I don't know if that something more is something bad, or, you know, if it's just something that we don't know about yet. Who knows? But I think there's definitely a little more going on with his character than just the maybe a little bit washed up celebrity who's teaching a class and is a little, you know, supposedly glamorous for this school. So can't really peg him yet. And then there's Kate Marsh and all of the bullying that she has gone through. There were a couple of choices related to her, a couple of big choices related to her in this episode. The first one was where she was asking you if she should go to the police, and I chose to tell her to wait because we need more evidence. And I didn't go back on that decision, and I don't regret that decision. I think going to the police at this point, under normal circumstances, would be a good idea. But under the circumstances of this town and how we know that they will probably deal with the situation, makes me not have the greatest confidence in going to the cops, because the Prescotts are such a prestigious name. I don't know. It doesn't feel like going to them and saying, "Hey, you know, I'm sure that I was drugged at this party, and I think that it was, you know, this guy who did it to me, and, you know, this, that, and the other," without having any evidence of that. That, you know, what Max tells her about them using that video against her and XYZ is probably exactly right. And even though it's hard, it might be hard for her to accept that. At this point, I do think that was the right choice to do, at least with the information that we have right now. And then there was the choice to answer her call or not. Again, I had no reservations in answering the phone with her. I think Chloe was acting a little bit childish, a lot childish, really. You know, when she got upset at that. Kate is obviously a person who was crying out for help in this episode, and if you can't even bother to answer your phone for a few seconds to be there for someone like that, then, you know, that's not going to have a very good result. So, no hesitation on that choice there. And so we get down to the big finale, and I thought that it was very cool that conversation with Kate on the roof seems to be able to go a lot of different ways, depending on not just those big choices that you made about her, whether to intervene with her and David in episode 1, and then the couple of choices that you made in this episode regarding the police and taking her phone call, but also all the little interactions as well. So even the things that she didn't necessarily even know about, like erasing the nasty messages off of her whiteboard in episode 1 and episode 2, choosing to erase the video link in the bathroom. I like that all of those things kind of came into play during the conversation at the end, and all of them seem to hold weight, in being able to convince her to come down from the ledge or not, which is really nice, and I see really good potential for things like that moving forward, of what are all the repercussions from even these little small decisions that we make. Because it seems like in convincing her to come down, the three big factors are whether or not you intervened with David in episode 1, whether or not you told her to go to the police at the beginning of episode 2, and whether or not you took her phone call toward the middle. And, 2 out of the 3 of those, I did the thing that seems to be what she wanted. And then the one, it seems like she wanted you to tell her to go to the police, and I didn't choose to do that. But, the other 2 things, plus all the other little stuff that I did to help her throughout, was enough to get her to, calm down, and be safe. And I really like the interplay there and how that worked out. And it seems like that the consequences of that could be pretty large for the upcoming episodes. I mean, the character is either dead or not, depending on what you do. I assume if you didn't get her to come down, then she just dies. And, you can fail that choice. And I guess somebody can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that seems to have pretty large implications for moving forward. And even on Max's psyche, she was able to save someone, or even with her abilities she couldn't because of choices that she'd made in the past. So super, super interesting stuff. And now we have some more weather anomalies. At the end of the last episode, we had the snowfall, and now we have this eclipse that's happening that is unscheduled. And so I'm interested to see how the weather changes, and I guess even astrological changes are connected to Max's abilities and what's going on. I think that is interesting. And then who this person is who's watching the girls, and if the person who you see at the sort of end clips, if that is the same person who is, responsible for their disappearance, or whether that is someone who is researching their disappearances. It looks like they're books. At first it looked like they were videos, but it now looks like they're like scrapbooks or something, where somebody is collecting information on these girls. And I have no idea who that could be. It could be anyone, really. But I almost want to say that it might be a character that we haven't even met yet. There's evidence, against several of the characters that we already know of. There's the obvious David, who has been collecting surveillance on people, but I highly, highly doubt that, it's him. Or even if it is him, that is something nefarious. And then you have Stanley, the kind of odd janitor guy who his spirit animal is a squirrel, and there were pictures of Rachel Amber, and just sort of, it was like an odd collection shrine type thing in his little janitor's closet maintenance shed area, which was weird. But again, that it just feels too obvious, that it would be him, sort of watching these girls around the halls or something. Then you have the possibilities of, the 2 kids, the one, I think his name is Daniel, who draws the girls, and Evan, who writes about them or takes photos. So you have those two kids, which we don't really know a lot about to even form an opinion. And then we have Mr. Jefferson, who, again, we just don't know enough about what's going on with him to even form ideas. And then we have your sort of typical mean kids, Veronica, Victoria, and Nathan, who, again, I highly doubt that they're going around collecting scrapbooks about people. I don't see it. So, who knows who this person is? There are lots of possibilities, but no one that's really standing out to me as, ooh, I really think that it's this person or that person, more so than anybody else. So we will have to wait and see. I'm certainly interested to find out what's going on, and I hope that we see some more. It was nice to have some character development this episode, and I hope that in the next one we see some more building of the overall plot and some of these threads that were not followed up on as much in this episode. So thanks for watching, guys. I've enjoyed playing, and I'll see you in episode 3.